If you do not believe with your full, abundant heart that you are co-creating reality, you still have an ego that is afraid. Are you responding to that? If you're responding to that, that means that just be aware that is the ego acting out. The ego that says, if I don't believe that I'm co-creating reality, then I have an that is you having an ego. There's nothing wrong with that, though. That's the important part. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. And in fact, as you purify the ego, it essentially starts to take a manifestation of divinity. And the manifestation of divinity is actually an aware ego. It's hard to explain exactly what beliefs are causing the distortion for you to not be purified enough to understand that you're co-creating reality, but the most important thing that I want to note out is that until you believe that you are co-creating reality, you're coming from an I that is actually disconnected from source. If you will, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Disconnection causes the emotional body a lot of dysfunction. It causes a lot of distortions within your own perception of reality. And this isn't about trying to now force your ego to give up being an ego. In truth, there are very wonderful, absolutely magnificent, innocent, and precious things the ego wants. And that's why it's a co-creation with the universe, not an individual creating reality. You need to be in a dance in order to co-create with reality, at least in this physical time-space dimension. And when you are able to do that dance, the universe responds. To break it down, there's so many distortions. I don't have a better way currently at the moment to say distortions. But whenever you're not fully receiving something, like what's the most important thing you're doing? And this is kind of like the masculine me coming out. The most important thing you're doing is what you're doing right now, which is watching this. Wake up. What is the most important thing you're doing? Did you forget? Or is it this video? What's the most important thing you're doing? Did you forget? Or is it this video? And until you kind of have that like, oh, that's the most important thing that I'm doing right now because I'm choosing to do this for a reason. And then I'm like, do I like that reason? Do I want that reason? Why is this the reason? And then you start to essentially lose control, and instead, a will greater than your own embodies you. A will that is so beautiful, so abundant, so glorious, so magnificent. It takes you, it grabs you, it pulls you. And when you're really there, you want nothing more than to be in that presence of that will all the time. What I want to mention is that I'm using the word will. Let's go into that, what I'm talking about there a bit more. In order for things to be dominated, in a sense you could say that I'm dominated by a will greater than my own. Now, in order for anything to be dominated, you need two wills. If there are not two wills, thank you, my friend, Lord Stephen, for giving me this information. If there are not two wills, then you cannot dominate. Domination is not the same thing as control. Hear that again. Domination is not the same thing as control. Control assumes there is no will of the other. Therefore, there is nothing to dominate, for it is being controlled. The moment something has a will of its own, that is what allows domination to occur. If there was no will, there would be no domination. So when I'm saying that I'm being dominated by something greater than myself, I am not referring to I am being controlled like a puppet by something else other than myself. My rule, my land of my mind, my body, my heart is ruled by a consciousness greater than my own. And all times that any distortion, any negative energy, not to say that you don't accept and integrate the negative energy, because negative energies have a very important message. And even in truth of that, it is not that there are negative energies, is that there are negative meanings and definitions that we have applied onto emotions. I want to say that again. There are negative meanings and definitions that we have applied to our emotions. And every time that comes up, it is a wonderful, absolutely, abundantly magnificent opportunity to show up as love, to understand why it's here, to hear it's calling. It's so subtle sometimes. To feel its movement. To be amazed at the movement that can now occur that was not able to occur before. So when I'm referring to co-create reality, it is not a matter of denying reality, denying the fact that I feel emotions and I don't like this. It's about, I see the reality that I have this emotion. I'm going to sink deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you will find a will greater than your own. I leave you with two things. If I fall asleep again, because I am human, and we are susceptible to that, and I may indeed do that, wake me up. 2, watch me. I love you.